Hey everybody, Mike Pfeiffer with Pfeiffer Hobby Supply. Today we're going to do update number 38 on the new ACT, and I hope you enjoy it. Okay everybody, the first thing I'd like to do today is, some of you watched and maybe some of you didn't watch since it wasn't railroad related, my dragster build, my old monogram kit. First thing I'd like to do today is thank George Donner for sending me this Green Hornet monogram kit. George, I really appreciate it, and thanks for watching the videos, and thanks for thinking of me with the kit, and I truly appreciate it. And thank you for the words of wisdom that were inside the box. Thanks to George. So let's move on to what we're going to talk about today in the update 38. Okay, in the update today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep you in the dark. Okay everybody, this is what we're going to talk about today. I've been scrambling around and doing some lighting. And as you can see, I put some light on Brownie's gas station on his signage. I've got some light inside. I haven't gone around and touched up the bottom of the building yet. And I moved the taco stand down to the corner here because I thought it afforded me more parking. But this is what the lighting in those two buildings looks like. And I'm going to show you the lighting, the other lighting that I've completed. Then we'll turn on the lights and take a look at this stuff. Okay, here's the little depot I put in. I think I may have shown this little depot on 37. But I put some lights in. Since this building in particular, and the lights appear to be much brighter than they actually are in person, but in this building here and most of the buildings I had no lighting in them originally when they were built. So what I did is I made a hole up through the foam and into the building and ran a popsicle stick up there with the light attached to it, and then hot glued the popsicle stick in place. I'll show you kind of how I did that in a little bit, but there is the depot. Of course, the window there is open, so you kind of don't get the effect. But let's move down to the other lighting I've done. Okay, I know you guys have already seen it, but there's the lighting at the mine once again, just for reference purposes. Now, here is some lighting that I've done. Obviously, at the sanding and fuel facility, and at the turntable and roundhouse. I finally have the lights inside the roundhouse turned on. I don't know if this camera will zoom in very well in the dark, but let me give it a shot. I think it turned out pretty good. I think it looks pretty nice in there. I didn't put an over amount of lights outside because I thought in a small turntable and roundhouse branch line, they may not go overboard on lighting except for inside the building, because one would assume that they would have everything in the building that they needed by the time they started working at night. So that is the roundhouse and turntable lighting and the fuel filling and sanding facility. So that's all the lighting and structures really that I have on the layout so far. Now let me show you how I accomplished most of this. Okay, all this lighting that I did here, I put the lighting, as you guys know if you followed me doing the roundhouse, I put all that lighting in there before I even mounted it here. All I did was put in the light poles outside here. That's a very simple matter of drilling a hole through the base scenery once you have the base scenery done. Then what I did, and let me swing the camera around here. I think you guys have seen the other video that I did about getting down through the foam. I heated this little rod up with a torch, which happens to be roughly the same diameter as this drill bit right here. And then once I drilled through the base scenery, then I took this and heated it up with the torch and just dropped it right down through the foam, or just run it down through the foam and pulled it back out. That makes a nice clean hole to run the wire down through. You don't have any problems. If you poke a hole with something, it tends to close up in this closed cell foam stuff. So I prefer to melt a hole down through. It makes it easy to get the wire through. Let me back up here real quick without making you sick, hopefully. I did the same thing here. I had to drill down through the resin casting, down through the cork, and then I went ahead and just heated up the rod and ran it right down through there for the light post there. To get these light posts to stand up at the right angle I want them, I heat up the hot glue gun. I raised the post up just a little bit and put just a dab on the bottom of the post, and then set it down into the hole. Then as it's cooling, which only takes a couple minutes, or 30 seconds probably, I move the light pole into the straight up position, or the position I want it. And then once that cools, it creates a bond, but not a bond that I can't break if I decide to move it. What it does do, and let me try and zoom in here a little bit. I don't know how well this will zoom in again. What it does do right down there at the base is it does create a little wad of hot glue, and you have to put some weeds or something around the bottom, but obviously I haven't gotten that far there yet. But some of them you can see the glue, some of them you can't, but normally in all my years of working for the telephone company, I think you'll find weeds at the bottom of a pole. But anyway, let's move around and check out the station and see how I did the lighting there. Okay, here's the station with the lights on, and you can see that the interior lighting is a little more yellowish and a lot lighter than it looked in the dark with the camera. But the poles here, the 3 light poles here, were done in the same manner. The only thing I did, like I said, since there wasn't any light in the building, was I had to guess basically where the middle of the building was, and I went from the bottom up with a drill bit that was roughly this size, and as I said, I super glued the light to and its wire to a popsicle stick. And what I did is I connected the light in, and then I stuck it up in there until I got the height of the light and the direction of the light that I wanted. Then I hot glued the popsicle stick into the hole down at the bottom. That is a way of getting lights up into a building. People use straws and other things. Pardon me. I had to do it with a popsicle stick just because I had the ability to make a big enough hole to get up in there. Now let's go down to Brownies and the taco stand and see how that looks and how I did that. Okay, this is Brownies here, and you can see the lights a little better. I have a small LED on each side of the sign, have an LED under where the fueling area is, and I have a light inside the building. I put all those in there before I set the building down. The building had a bottom on it already, a styrene bottom. I removed all that, put debonder on the super glue, and took all that off of there. Same thing with the taco stand. It had a styrene flooring and parking lot on it. Took all that off to get down to the basics so that I could put light inside. There's a single light inside the taco stand with a lamp post outside for the customers. A lamp post for Brownies. So basically when I did this, I made a template here and cut the new styrene so that it butted up against the road, and I also cut a template for the taco stand over here so that it butted up against the existing road, and then went ahead and made sure the building fit on it, and eventually glued it down to the base. This building is now glued down to the base here. Then I came back with I painted the styrene. It's styrene, by the way. I painted the styrene on it and the gas station, black over here and kind of a gray black over here because I didn't want them to be identical. Little variation. Then I came back with the pan pastels and chalked where the cars drive around the drive up and so forth. So that's pretty much how I did that. On the styrene up here, what I did is I cut a hole in the styrene with a drill bit. Then, as you saw a minute ago, I happened to have this piece of tubing, brass tubing, which was the same same size as the drill bit I was using. Pardon my voice, I've got a frog in my throat today. But I heated up this tube and then ran this tube down through the foam, and basically it cuts a large hole. And this tube, by the way, is just big enough to fit the plug down through for the Woodland Scenes plug-and-play lighting system. So that's pretty much how I did these buildings here. I know I had the taco stand back there by the tracks last time, but when I got to looking at it, I thought this area right here, because of the step out in the crossing gate here, it would afford me a little more area and not jam up and take up a lot of room to get the parking lot in there like it would down at that end down there. So we'll figure out other buildings down there. And I've kind of broken my little cardinal rule here in that I wanted to do work from the back this way, but sometimes when you get an idea, it just doesn't fly. So I'm totally expecting to probably break off this lamppost and maybe do some damage to this thing when I'm leaning over trying to work back in there. But I suppose that's the way it goes when you get over anxious and you want to get something put in. But I like those in those locations right there, and I'll work my way down with other buildings as we go. So now I'll kind of show you what I got going on in the way of the connections for the Woodland Scenics white lighting system. Okay, this is at the station end as you come in the door, and as you can see, I have a power supply that goes back up in there to a 110 plug, and then I just have two sets of lights plugged in here with a gang type plug for the if you've used this system, it comes with this plug that you put the little fine magnet wires into for the street lights. All that needs to be dressed up and put up, but I'm not going to do that quite yet, because what I'd like to do is I would like to put in an expansion hub. Hang on one second, let me show you an expansion hub. Okay, this is an expansion hub, and what you basically do is take the power from here, put it into here, then you come out of here with cables and feed multiple boxes like this. So what I want to do is take this expansion hub, put it down here in the middle somewhere, put this box as close as I can get it with the length of wire I got back here, and eventually screw these to the inside of the benchwork back there and get all this wire cleaned up. But I want to put this expansion hub in because I may need to use another 1 or 2 light hubs by the time I hook up the junkyard and whatever other industry that I put in up here. So I'm trying to plan for the future by putting one of these in so I can add multiples of these and plug in multiple lights. They also have, I can't think of what the name of it is, I think it's a sharing hub or hub sharing. And I think what it allows you to do is plug in one of these, and then it multiplies the amount of plug-ins that you have. We don't currently have any of those. I don't know if they're on back order or what, but I could use those in the future if I needed more plugs. And as you guys have heard me say before, you can put multiple wires. You can splice multiple wires together here and go into one slot if you need to save slots. But the expansion hub allows you to put more of the light hubs in. And that's what I'm going to do, because this will be the heart and then these will be the arteries out to the different areas, and then of course the wires going to the light wind up being the veins to those areas. So that's how I'm doing it, and this is what it looks like here. Let's go take a look under where the taco stand is. Okay, it's a little dark under here, but you can see that on this one I've kind of done that very thing. I have a power supply plugged in right up there. It comes down, it goes to an expansion hub. From the expansion hub I have a wire to the light hub here. And this light hub is already full with the two buildings up there. So what I will do eventually is come out with another wire to another light hub, and I will be able to feed all the houses and buildings along the highway up above this. So I think you kind of get the way it filters down and allows this plug-and-play system to work. I know that I'm going to get a lot of comments on, oh yeah, it's expensive. It's expensive, but it's easy. It certainly is easy. So it's just the way I'm doing it, and I'm doing it this way simply because we sell these products and I want to use them and tell people what I know about them. So let's go down and take a look under the roundhouse. Okay, here's the area at the roundhouse, as well as my air conditioner, which I don't need right now. But anyway, I have a light hub here. I do not have an expansion hub put in here yet. And I might, in fact I probably will, because I'm going, the layout is kind of broken up scenically in this end, the center, where the town is down there, and then this peninsula. So with 4 expansion hubs, I should be able to put in enough light hubs to get from here about halfway down here, and then from using an expansion hub in the middle, get halfway this way, and so forth, all the way down to be able to accommodate all my lighting features. If we look real close right up here where I have all this stuff, this little fine magnet wire right here comes from that light right there. So I just fed it through the tubing over here, ran it down, and connected it here. And as you can see here, I have, whoops, as you can't see there because I don't have you in the right place. But as you can see right here, I have 4 wires in each one of these holes. Well, 4 wires in this plug, basically. They say that that's the limit that you should be using. I have used up to 6 with no problem. In fact, these are the dimmers to dim these lights. You can vary them to get the shade of light you want. And I have found that I have never left one of these all the way turned up. By the way, an interesting fact on this system, these power supplies that feed these little boxes right here, the light hubs, they're 24 volts. Don't ask me, I don't get it. I don't know why they would be 24 volts, but they are. But anyway, you can see how this will come together. I'll put the plug is behind the skirting right here. I'll put a expansion hub there. I will put this hub next to it, which will feed what you already see, plus any industries that are going to be back behind the track that's here. And that's pretty much it on the, I think, on the lighting. So let's take another little look around here. Okay, one of the other things that I wanted to tell you in this video is, you guys remember me putting in these boxes here for my car cards? It works well, but I find that because it's set back, it makes it hard to get my finger in here, bend it, and pull these drawers out. So what I'm going to do is dismount this and move it out to the forward edge right here of the layout so I can readily get my finger in there and pull the card box out. Another thing is, when you paint these boxes, especially with acrylic paint, the boxes stick. So I've got to figure out baby powder or put something on the bottom of them down here to keep the drawers from sticking all the time. I don't want to put anything petroleum based, but probably either graphite or baby powder. I think I'll try baby powder first and see if it keeps the two acrylic surfaces from sticking to each other. But anyway, as I'm saying, this thing needs to be moved out to the very edge right here so that I can get my finger in there and easily pull these drawers out. Another thing is I need to put a stop on these drawers so that when I pull them out, they don't fall on the floor. I have found that out as well. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do that, but I'll figure that out. Then let's see. Let me show you one other thing, I believe. I don't know, I always say that. Let me show you one other thing, and then it winds up being 10. But let me show you one other thing. Okay, this Christmas, Robin, well, we never can figure out what to get each other. But we got a little pamphlet or a little booklet in the mail about from an Indian tribe that makes Christmas gifts, and what they do is they provide meals to Indian families across the country, Christmas dinners and so forth. Anyway, I was flipping through the little catalog and I found this horny toad, and I asked her if she could get me the horny toad. So, of course, she got me the horny toad. It's up on the wall, and we donated. I believe she donated $50 to the fund, which I thought was a good thing to do. But anyways, I think, gang, that's about it. All I can show you today. Okay, everybody. Hope you enjoyed update 38. And as usual, thanks for watching.